everybody. It is now 9:01, and I thank you for being with us here today. My name is Flora Lucero. I am the chair of the Democratic Party of Bernalillo County, along with my vice chairs, Danny Leyva and Marcela Duarte. They're fantastic. I want to welcome you to this Get Set, Rally, and Go kickoff to the CD1 Get Out the Vote effort. Special thanks to our behind-the-scenes staff, including Ivan Pfeiffer, Marietta Benevento, Jenny Lusk, Eric Smith, Jared Kozlik, and Danny Leyva. And a very special thanks to Alan Copeland for making all this happen. Alan, you are a gift to our community and to my life. Thank you, Alan. It takes a team to put together an event, and at the Democratic Party of Bernalillo County, we have the best of the best. We look forward to hearing from some amazing speakers as we gather here to support our Democratic nominee for CD1, Representative Melanie Stansberry. And so with that, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Danny Leyva. Is Senator Heinrich here with us, Juan? This is Juan Sanchez. He is Senator Heinrich's political director. Is that your title, Juan?
Yeah, that's correct. I think he should be on. Give me 1 second. I'll give him a quick call, but I think he should be on or just about on.
Okay, we'll give just a minute then, and want to just say, okay, once again, who all's canvassing this morning? Give me a raise. Yay. Who's phone banking? Phone bankers. Yay. Who's donating money? Yay. Wonderful. Some more people coming in here. Some of our phenomenal field organizers, such committed people. It's a beautiful thing. So let's see, I just saw Senator Ben Ray Lujan has joined us, am I correct? Yes, all right. Why don't we go?
I've admitted him.
Yeah, okay. So since Senator Heinrich is not with us yet, Alex, would you like to introduce Senator Lujan? And we'll start off with our wonderful State Senator Ben Ray Lujan. Alex Pylan from Sandoval County will be introducing him.
Thank you, Flora. This past January, United States Senator Ben Ray Lujan was sworn into office. Previously, he served as United States Representative for New Mexico's 3rd Congressional District and House Assistant Speaker in the 116th Congress. Since being elected to Congress in 2008, Senator Lujan has been a leading voice in the fight against climate change. He has championed efforts to create good-paying jobs in New Mexico, advocated for first responders, expanded quality health care, and protected patients with pre-existing conditions, preserved our natural resources and sacred sites, advocated to build a clean energy economy, and uplift the middle class by spurring local economic growth. Senator Lujan has been a champion for New Mexico working families. He's fought to raise the minimum wage, close the gender pay gap, and bridge the digital divide. He has been an unwavering supporter of women's rights, LGBTQ+ rights, and continues to advance causes important to all New Mexicans. It is my honor to introduce to you United States Senator Ben Ray Lujan.
Well, thank you so much, Alex, and greetings to all of our brothers and sisters across the 1st Congressional District and for Bernalillo County to be sponsoring today's GOTV event. I send you greetings from Nambe, New Mexico. So you caught me working on the farm a little bit this morning with my brother. We've been at it really early. We actually helped welcome the sunrise this morning. So very special day. We have about another hour left before I get on the road myself. But to each and every one of you, I want to say thank you. You know how to organize. You know how to turn out the vote. And you've proven it year after year, election after election. The work that we're doing together makes such a difference. Can you imagine if we wouldn't have won a majority in the United States Senate and we wouldn't have the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives and had New Mexico not gone blue in securing our state for President Biden and Vice President Harris? Think about the American Rescue Plan, the importance of securing dollars for our communities, getting shots in people's arms, investments in our school districts across New Mexico, and providing support to defeat COVID-19. Now, we know our Governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, is doing a great job in keeping us safe and healthy. And your turnout during that gubernatorial race mattered. So here we are, special election, just a few weeks away. And with these numbers so close in the U.S. House of Representatives, we need you to turn out. I'm so excited about the candidacy of Melanie Stansberry. She's a friend. She's a great leader. She's someone that knows how to listen. She gets to work. She rolls up her sleeves. She gets the job done. And Melanie knows the importance of protecting Medicare and Social Security, expanding those programs so that way we can get people vision care and hearing care and dental care, lowering the cost of prescription drug prices for people across New Mexico and across America. And one of the reasons I'm so excited to support Melanie Stansberry is I know that she understands the importance and urgency of infrastructure. President Biden just laid out the American Jobs Plan and the Infrastructure Plan and the Families Plan. We need to make sure that we're building more roads and bridges, water and wastewater. But the one thing that we all know in New Mexico, unfortunately, is the difference between fast internet, slow internet, and no internet. I recently had the honor of having Helena, who is a sophomore at Cuba High School. She lives out in Counselor, New Mexico, in the Navajo Nation. She doesn't have access to broadband at home. She doesn't have electricity. Melanie will do something about that. And we can work together to make sure we're providing support to every family across the 1st Congressional District. I cannot place the urgency high enough to say we need a turnout. This is a turnout election. It's a special. And the country's watching us, New Mexico. So let's make sure we get the vote out. We do everything we can. I'll be doing my part. So make sure you sign up for those shifts, whether we're knocking on doors, we're calling friends and family, but that we're turning out the vote. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you all real soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks for your support. Now let's elect Melanie Stansberry to be our U.S. representative in the 1st Congressional District of New Mexico. Turn it back over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Senator Lujan. Thank you. Good to see you. Beautiful out there. Yes. Thank you so much. It is such a, boy, we are lucky, aren't we, to have such wonderful representation. Senator Lujan is doing such great things for us and for his community, our community. And look at him out there, just toiling on his farm. What a beautiful thing, down to earth. It's a very good thing. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, Flora?
Yes.
Senator Heinrich said it's not letting him in right now, but he should be out there on the outside right now.
Thank you. We are working on that. Ivan, are you getting that fixed?
He told me there's a limit of 100 people on or something along those lines.
I think we had a mix-up with our accountant. I think Ivan is fixing it right now.
Laura, I'll jump off right now so we can let our senior Senator Martin Heinrich, I'll jump off. Okay.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day,
You got it.
Senator Lujan.
Come help me clean the seconds, everybody. After you turn out the vote.
Thank you. All right. So we're working on that. I do apologize. We had a mix-up with the account being with our account, so I do apologize for that. We do have Teresa Ledger Fernandez joining us. Thank you so much, Representative Ledger Fernandez. And Ivan, would you please let me know what's going on with the account?
Laura, we're good. I've admitted Representative Ledger Fernandez and Senator Heinrich. So I think we're good.
So Senator Heinrich is with us. Great. Danny, are you ready to introduce the senator?
Yes. So, elected in 2012, Martin Heinrich is a senior United States Senator for New Mexico. Heinrich serves on the Senate Energy and Natural Resources, Appropriations, Intelligence, and Joint Economic Committees. He is the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Energy and the Subcommittee on Emerging Threats and Capabilities. With a background in engineering, Heinrich provides a unique perspective to the Senate, where he is focused on creating the jobs of the future and protecting the vital missions of New Mexico's national labs and military installations. An avid sportsman and conservationist, Heinrich works to protect New Mexico's public lands, watersheds, and wildlife for future generations. He worked with local communities to designate the Rio Grande del Norte and Oregon Mountains Desert Peaks National Monuments. Heinrich also led the effort to create the, and you're going to have to forgive my pronunciation, Ashislepa and Columbine Honda Wilderness areas, opened up public access to Sabinoso Wilderness, established the Manhattan Project National Historical Park in Los Alamos, and transitioned the Valles Caldera National Preserve to the National Park Service Management. Heinrich serves as a member of the Migratory Bird Commission, where he helps approve grants to restore and conserve essential wildlife habitat. Heinrich is working to pass legislation to upgrade Bandelier and White Sands National Monuments into new national parks. He is also leading the effort to pass bipartisan sportsman legislation to extend key conservation programs and improve public access to public lands for hunting, fishing, and other outdoor recreation. Prior to being elected to the U.S. Senate, Heinrich served 2 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives, representing New Mexico's 1st Congressional District. Before he was elected to Congress, Heinrich served 4 years as an Albuquerque City Councilor and was elected as City Council President.
Danny, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. The good news is I couldn't join the Zoom this morning because it was set up for 100 people and it was full. And I think that's an incredible accomplishment this morning that we're seeing. And I want to thank you, Danny, and Flora, and Jessica for kicking off your new leadership today. This is a seat that's really near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I was the first Democrat ever to represent the 1st Congressional District, and I am so proud to support Melanie. We all know from what she's been able to do in the legislature, what she's capable of, the values that she brings to this fight, and we know what an enormous contrast that would be to Mark Moore's. And so knowing what a great candidate she is, knowing how hard she works, how hard she's already been working to put this entire campaign together, the only way she's not going to be successful is if we don't all do our jobs. And if we turn out the vote for Melanie, if we continue to fight each and every day between now and the special election, she is going to win this seat, and she's going to be a fantastic member of Congress. And we have to win this seat if we're going to hold the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. So I just want to urge all of you this morning to make a commitment over the course of the coming weeks to what you can do to make sure that Melanie is a success. We need her in the Congress. We need her there fighting for us each and every day. She'll do her part, but if we do our part, we know she'll be a success.
Thank you so much, Senator Heinrich. It is such an honor to have you with us and such a pleasure to have you by our side as we do this. It's an important seat, and we appreciate your help in getting out the vote. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here this morning.
You bet. Thanks, Flora.
You. All right, so we are working on getting our account upgraded so we can get all the more people in here. And thank you all for your patience. Thank you, Senator Heinrich, for that wonderful, rousing speech. We are going to Representative Teresa Ledger Fernandez, and introducing the representative is our Vice Chair, Marcela Duarte.
Hello. I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, a true Democratic champion. In 2020, she made history as the first Hispanic woman ever elected to represent New Mexico's 3rd Congressional District. Since then, Representative Teresa Ledger Fernandez has gotten to work. showing us exactly what it means to lead with compassion and dedication. As a freshman representative, she has already stepped into leadership roles, both as chair of the Subcommittee for Indigenous Peoples of the United States and as the freshman representative to leadership for the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. She has been an outspoken advocate and co-sponsor of critical legislation in the Equality Act and For the People Act, as well as measures to combat climate change, support tribal communities, and expand access to healthcare. And she played a key role in passing President Biden's American Rescue Plan, which has already invested millions of dollars in New Mexico. We are so lucky to have such an incredible Democrat leading the way in CD3, and we can't wait to hear from her this morning. Please welcome Representative Teresa Ledger Fernandez.
Muchísimas gracias, Marcela, por esa presentación y introducción. Hey, everybody. I love the fact that we are at capacity. Now, let's get that bigger thing because we know Democrats show up, right? That's what this is about. And we show up because we care. But we care so deeply about our communities. We care about our future. And we are showing up because we know that Melanie cares about our future. I mean, the way she speaks, every time she speaks, you just hear that love that she has come through for the issues, and that she is both gentle and firm, right? She's the scientist who knows about what science means and what facts means. And then she's that person who knows how to talk to people, right? How to connect with individuals. And I'm going to show a little bit about why we need Melanie, right? It's 6 votes. In the House, we have a 6-vote advantage right now. And what does that mean? It means that we passed the American Rescue Plan with not a single vote. Not a single vote. And sometimes people can't show up, they get sick, they can't make a vote because they're a front line, and we have to give the frontliners their leeway because we need them to stay in the majority. So if they can't vote for something, we need to let them not vote for something. And sometimes maybe somebody just doesn't want it. So then all of a sudden your votes are shrinking. The Equal Pay Act, right? The Protect Equal Pay so that women could get paid as much as men. And in New Mexico, that's huge. Latinas Equal Pay Day is not until October. I'm sorry, that's so long. Guess how many Republican women voted for that bill? 0. Now, Melanie in Congress, you know what she's going to do. She's going to vote for those kinds of bills. She's going to advocate for them. She's going to talk about them back home. She's going to get the community excited about them. She's going to do that. And she's going to listen to President Biden's speech. Who loved President Biden's speech? Everybody raise their hands and go, yes, I love President Biden's speech. Melanie's going to listen to that along with all of us. And then she's going to say, you know what? I am taking on the issues about how do we address climate change in a way that addresses injustice and environmental injustice. And I'm going to look at those water issues that he talked about. I am going to look at protecting our community the way he talked about it. That's what Melanie's going to do. Is she's going to help us accomplish the things that President Biden talked about in his speech. I mean, I loved that speech, and I hope every single one of you did. I was getting up, and clapping and standing on my feet so often, but we only get to stand on our feet and clap and applaud that when we have people like Melanie in Congress. I need her because I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be the only Democrat in the House of Representatives for the state of New Mexico. The state of New Mexico is better than that. We're going to send 2 women to Congress from the Democratic Party, and in 2022, it's going to be 3 women, or at least 3 Democrats. And you all, I know you're going to do it. The reason you show up on a Saturday morning is because you care. And I want to thank you for caring so much. I want to thank you for doing everything you can to elect Melanie. I know you're going to do it. And de mi corazón, muchísimas gracias for all of that. And now Melanie, oh my goodness, Melanie Stansbury, what a champion we have. What a champion we have in this beautiful woman who is going to be the next Congresswoman from CD1. She's a champion for working families, for children, and for this beautiful place we get to call home. soon to be Representative Melanie Stansbury. Adelante.
All right, yay! Good morning, Bernalillo County Democrats. It's so wonderful to be here with you this morning. Thank you for everyone who showed up this morning. Thank you to our amazing County Chair, Flora, for organizing this outstanding event, to Congresswoman Ledger Fernandez and my good friend Ben Ray Lujan and my good friend Senator Heinrich for coming this morning and getting us pumped. So as I was getting ready, actually right before I got on here, I found this. It's in my bag. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because this is a Get Out the Vote rally. And this is the sticker that I carry in my bag with me everywhere I go, because this is the sticker that was given to me when I first got to vote for myself in 2018, when we flipped New Mexico House District 28, flipping a district that had never had a Democrat and never had a woman representing it. And this is what matters, making sure that every voice and every vote matters and every person who can shows up to vote on or before June 1st so that we can hold this seat. I am Melanie Stansbury, and I am running to be your next Congresswoman because I am from New Mexico. I believe in New Mexico, and I believe in our future and our people and our ability to build a more thriving community and future for our people. I'm a hometown girl. I grew up in Albuquerque on the west side and the North Valley, and I went to Cibola High School, and I know the strength and resilience and creativity and the amazing people who live across our communities in New Mexico. That is why I've spent my entire life working as a public servant and a researcher to help lift up our communities, working as an educator, working on water science, working to help build a more sustainable future as a public servant, serving in the White House, serving as a staffer in the Senate, and now serving as a state legislator. It is that lifetime of experience that I will take back to Washington as your next Congresswoman, working to build economy, working to rebuild our economy and jobs for New Mexicans that are meaningful and sustainable and that lift up our communities and our ways of life, that address the fundamental issues that affect the community well-being of everyone across our communities, from improving education to addressing healthcare and behavioral health, addressing hunger and homelessness as we've championed in the legislature, and taking on the biggest challenge of our day, which is fighting global climate change and ensuring that we protect the sacred lands and waters of our people. And I was so honored to see our good senator from Nambe out there planting his fields, because we know that water is life, water is sacred, and that our ways of life here in New Mexico, we have to protect them and lift them up. So everything is on the line in this race. As Congresswoman Ledger Fernandez said, and as our senators said, this race is not only about New Mexico, this is about our country and about our future. As the leadership of the House has been doing events with us over the last several weeks, it is clear that not only are all eyes on New Mexico and that it's up to us to actually turn out the vote, but one of the biggest civic duties that anyone can do right now is to help us keep CD1 blue, because our vote as a community, as a democratic community in Congress, will ensure that we can pass all of this critical legislation to bring relief and recovery and investments and infrastructure back home, that we can address the fundamental issues that not only affect our community, but the entire country, and enable our president, who we fought for 2 years to get elected through the last several years in 2020, that he can carry out his agenda. I want to say one other thing about the importance of leadership. I think, our Congresswoman was just talking about the importance of women leaders in particular, right? And I don't know about you all, but I cried the other day when I saw the president come in for his address to the country. And as our speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and our vice president, Kamala Harris, stood behind him, 2 women standing on that dais for the first time in American history. We are living through historic times. And it is the grassroots organizing. It is the getting out the vote. It's the phone calls, the texts, the knocking, the literature, the handwritten postcards. It's all of that work that you all do that made that possible, that made history possible, and that is going to make sure that we hold CD1 blue and we send another Democrat to Congress to represent our communities. And with that, I want to say thank you. Let's get out the vote. Let's make sure that every single person has this sticker on or before June 1st, and let's do this.
Thank you so much, Representative Stansberry. You are phenomenal. We can't wait till you are in office serving us at the congressional level. This is exciting. This is so cool. So at this time, is our Lieutenant Governor on, Danny?
Yes. Yes.
Do we have? We
Yes.
are so honored to have with us our Lieutenant Governor, part of the administration that has done a phenomenal job for New Mexico, that is leading us in ways that we have never been led before, who is keeping us at the top. Thank you and welcome, Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales.
Thank you so much, Fleur, for the invitation to be here with you. So inspirational to hear Melanie speak. She speaks with passion, she's genuine, and you can just feel that energy as she spoke, and I'm so glad to be here. You know, when I look and see what has happened in the state of New Mexico, elections truly do have consequences, and elections truly matter. And no better time in our history to have an all-Democratic team who's there working for each one of us to make sure that we can work together. Little did we know we were going to be experiencing a pandemic. And I'm so grateful with the leadership of Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, with all of our strong allies working hard in Washington to make sure that we get the resources necessary, and looking at the legislature and seeing the wonderful champions we have, like Melanie Stansberry, Linda Lopez, Liz Thompson, labor leaders like Sarah Adelson, who constantly are working on our behalf. And it's wonderful to see that. I do want to take a quick moment just to pay respect, pay tribute, and I want to thank our State Auditor, Brian Colon, for notifying me. When we're, as Democrats, we come together, we support one another. And this morning, a person who always stayed close to me, close to many of us, Don Dino Caraga, had, you know, learning of the passing of him was tremendously, it was such a surprise and such a heartbreak for many of us. And I just want to recognize him and the life that he's lived and the support that he's given to Democrats across the state, and how grateful that I am. So I just wanted to acknowledge that because I know how important it is for each one of us to stay connected in all that we do. But it's also exciting to be here, and I want to thank everybody for allowing us to join together virtually. And even though we can't be in person, doesn't mean that we can't stand together, walk together, make phone calls, do all the things that need to be done. And I'm so grateful that I can be here in support of Representative, soon-to-be Congresswoman Melanie Stansberry, because I've been so impressed, not only with the way that you saw her speak today, but the way that she's able to work in the legislature for the things that are so important to her: climate, water, making sure that we're standing up for working families like where she came from. Modest background, trying to do the best she can to never forget where she came from. And many of you know the story that I talk about, the importance of labor and the importance of unions and the importance of having people who are going to work together for that. And I see Melanie as a tremendous progressive, a blue-collar Democrat. I consider her also as one of us, a salt of the earth Democrat. Where I come from in Silver City, as you knew about the movie Salt of the Earth, and I've shared this many times. And the power of that story was the power of when the men were put in jail, thinking that the strike was over and the labor movement in Grant County was going to be put to rest. It was the women who went to the picket line, the women who kept the dream alive, and to make sure that the labor movement got the support it was necessary for success. That's why it's important that we send Melanie to Washington, to continue to send women to the line who are going to work on our behalf, who are going to be genuine, and at times going to make sure that they can push back, but do so while being connected to each one of us. And it's exciting to see the potential that each one of us has to work in this environment. It is amazing to see, as was mentioned, the president's speech and his talk about unity, his talk about infrastructure, his talk about moving this country forward. He can only move this country forward if we give him the support that's necessary to get things through Congress. And as our wonderful Congresswoman, Ledger Fernandez, Teresa had spoke about, the narrow margin that is there in the vote count is so important that we have that. But I do want to make sure that we recognize, look at the votes and looking to see how things take place. When there was support needed to come for families across this country, it was Republicans who voted against providing that support. It was Republicans who voted against providing assistance for those who have been unemployed. And it was Republicans who voted against providing the basic needs for families across this country. That's why we need a person like Melanie Stansbury who understands it from a personal perspective of what it is to have to struggle, what it is to have to do what you can to make ends meet. And it's important to recognize when we talk about that as well, to know that with her connection, being a hometown girl, being a part of our state is something that you never forget, because she knows and understands what is important to our communities. And just like our senators have spoken about, the importance of making sure that we bring the resources and the needed support is going to be something that she'll continue to do. But I do want to share this with each one of us, is that even though statistically you look at the numbers and we're grateful, the great work that our governor, that our senator now, Senator Martin Heinrich, our Congresswoman now, our Secretary Deb Haaland have done in CD1. We're grateful for that. And we're grateful for the margin that we have, but we cannot take that for granted. We have to get out there and work. We have to make sure that we're earning this victory. Melanie's going to do all that she can to make sure that she's going to be successful to represent each one of us. We must make that commitment to do all that we can to ensure that Melanie has that opportunity to be there to work for New Mexico. I know that I look forward to getting out there, to canvassing, making phone calls, donating money. These are the things that are necessary to make sure that we can have that success, because Melanie brings to us what we all look for in the leader. And what we look for in the leader is a person who's willing to serve, who's willing to look beyond a title, beyond a position, and ask the question, how can I help you? She's always done that her whole life. She's done that in the New Mexico House, and she'll do that in the US Congress. So join me as each one of us are here today with our recommitment to make sure we take nothing for granted, that we do all we can to solidify Melanie Stansbury as our next Congresswoman in Congressional District 1. Thank you so much, and it's time to get to work.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. What an honor to have you here, and what an honor to have you serving the state of New Mexico. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for that rousing speech. You're wonderful. We sure appreciate you. Thank you. At this time, I'm so glad that Lieutenant Governor said salt of the earth, because that's exactly what I thought of whenever I was thinking of Jamie Harrison. Salt of the earth. It means a person that embodies the best elements of humanity. Jamie Harrison is salt of the earth. Jamie is the son of a single teenage mom. He was raised by his grandparents in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Thanks to a good public education, the love of his family, and the support of his community, Jamie was able to earn a scholarship to Yale University and attend Georgetown Law. After college, he went back home to Orangeburg to teach at his old high school and then worked to help empower disadvantaged kids to attend college. Jamie also served as an aide to the legendary South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn. In 2013, Mr. Harrison was the first African American elected as chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. a position he held until 2017 when he was appointed as an associate chair of the DNC. In 2020, Jamie ran for the US Senate from South Carolina, building a national grassroots movement and setting a fundraising record for the most raised by a Senate candidate. It is my distinct honor, privilege, and great pleasure to welcome Jamie Harrison, Chair of the Democratic National Committee.
Well, thank you so much, Chair Lucero. Thank you for all of your work in keeping politics local and making sure that everyone is included in the process that we all have a stake in. We so applaud your leadership and so appreciate what you do on a day-to-day basis for the Democratic Party, so thank you. And before I get started, there's some other folks I would also like to recognize. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales, and your state party chair, Jessica Velasquez. Thank you all for your steadfast leadership and for all of the remarkable work that you do for the good people of New Mexico. You know, during such a critical time, it is so reassuring to have talent like theirs at the helm, making decisions that impact the lives of people on a day-to-day basis. So thank you again. I also like to recognize Representative Fernandez, Senator Heinrich, and Senator Lujan, who are dear friends and who tirelessly deliver for the hardworking folks here in your state and nationwide on a day-to-day basis. My friends, as much as we will miss Deb Holland, and you know, I am dear friends with Deb, she and I both became state party chairs at the same time. But I can tell you that we'll miss her as a congresswoman, but we are so happy to have Deb as our Interior Secretary. She will do fantastic things as the first Native American cabinet secretary in our nation's history. And in 1 month, my friends, you will elect Melanie Stansbury as your new representative in Washington, D.C. And we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that happens. You see, Melanie has proven over and over again that she is the right person for the job because she sees a problem and she doesn't stop until it's actually resolved. Like me, she grew up in a working class family and she knows what it's like to struggle to get by. She's lived in a house that had trouble putting food on the table or keeping the lights on. But instead of standing around and talking about these problems, she's jumped in the fight and she's taken action. She's dedicated her life to community development, to hunger, to homelessness. Once she got into office as a state rep, she got to work. She fought to expand access to school meal programs and to fund hunger relief programs. She passed a law to modernize New Mexico's electrical grid. She has been a leader in COVID relief and recovery. She's been on the right side of debates over education, water security, economic opportunity, public safety, and so many more topics. She's always on the right side because she has been on your side. And while Melanie and all of the Democrats of New Mexico were delivering, what were the Republicans doing? They were talking. They were working for their own interests instead of your interests. They were denying science. For nearly 2 decades, Melanie has been a strong advocate of science as she worked to protect our water and natural resources around the country. That experience guided her approach to tackling COVID-19. Here in New Mexico, thanks to the work of Governor Lujan Grisham and the many Democrats you have working on your behalf, New Mexico has one of the highest rates of vaccinations in the country. Governor Lujan Grisham has overseen the most successful vaccine rollout in the nation, with over 42% of New Mexicans already fully vaccinated and over 57% having received at least 1 dose. Your state is a shining example of what strong leadership from Democrats can deliver. You have leaders fighting to protect your health and your safety, and they've been major allies to President Biden's efforts to put this country back on track. In Congress, Melanie will continue to be a strong ally to the Biden-Harris administration, help send the American Jobs Plan to President Biden's desk, and bring to all that comes with it to New Mexico. Things like good new jobs and investments in roads and bridges, broadband and pipes to provide clean drinking water. And you can bet she'll keep up the fight to end childhood hunger in your community. But we need your help to get her there. My friends, we need you now more than ever. We need you working with your precincts to engage your communities. You have 1 month to organize, organize, organize. So make those phone calls, put up those signs. 1 month to text every friend, family member, co-worker, neighbor about electing Melanie Stansbury. But we know progress, my friends, don't come from the top down. It comes from the bottom up. So we need you out there spreading the word, encouraging everyone you know to vote. Then I want you to make me a promise. I want you to promise me that you won't stop. I want you to promise to take all of that energy that you put into electing Melanie, take all that goodwill, all the memories, all the friends made. I want you to take all of those things and keep going, keep fighting to elect Democrats who will never stop fighting for you. Keep talking about all that Democrats are achieving for you and your family and your communities. Keep going to the meetings, my friends. Keep sharing those emails and texts. Keep working to make this country a more perfect union. And keep hope in your hearts. Thank you all so much for having me with you today. Melanie, best of luck, and just know that you got folks pulling for you all over the country. And we're going to do everything that we possibly can to make sure you're the next Congresswoman from the great state of New Mexico.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Chair. We are in capable, wonderful hands with you at the helm. Thank you for leading our party to greatness. Thank you for being with us here in Bernalillo County today. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your words. We appreciate you. Thank you. Right. At this time, I would like to also recognize our Senator, Linda Lopez. Thank you for being here, Linda. She is in our audience and another true champion of Democrats and New Mexicans. And at this time, would also like to invite Ray Allen Smith to join us, please.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to introduce our next speaker, DPNM Chair Jessica Velasquez. We took office just a week ago, but Jessica's already working full-time to build the party and win elections. As a former candidate for the State House, she knows what it takes to organize and engage voters in even the reddest part of our state. During her run for the DPNM chair, she reached out to every one of our county parties and SCC members, building relationships and listening to Democrats across New Mexico about how the party can help them recruit candidates and build infrastructure on the ground. As a small business owner who lives in a rural community, Jessica understands that not all Democrats think alike. She knows that as a party, we need to be connecting with all kinds of voters, and that means working with rural communities, tribal leadership, and youth organizations to get people involved. Under Jessica's leadership, we're going to be implementing a dynamic 33-county strategy that focuses on registering voters, running candidates in every race, and working alongside our allies to elect Democrats. As we take on this challenge, I'm so thankful to have Jessica leading the way, and I'm excited to hear from her this morning. Please welcome our new chair of the Democratic Party of New Mexico, Jessica Velasquez.
Well, thank you, Ray Ellen, and hello, Democrats. Thank you so much for showing up today for this incredible opportunity to hear from DNC Chair Jamie Harrison about getting fired up to get out the vote for Melanie Stansbury. I tell you, after hearing from Senators Martin Heinrich, Ben Ray Lujan, Representative Teresa Ledger Fernandez, our own Melanie Stansbury, Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales, and Jamie Harrison, I am ready to get on the phones and talk to some voters, or even better yet, get out there and canvass. During my run for chair, I talked a lot about showing up. That's the heart of our work as Democrats and a core value for me as a teacher, third-generation family business owner, lifelong Democrat, and recent candidate myself in a red rural House district. Now, something that Chairman Harrison said just now reminds me of the power of showing up and connecting with voters. He said, we know progress doesn't come from the top down. It comes from the bottom up. We need you out there spreading the word, showing up. That resonates with me because I have seen exactly how much conversations with voters matter. I know this firsthand because when I was a candidate, I had so many great conversations, but one in particular sticks in my mind. I was talking with a woman who was questioning if she was even going to vote that year. And despite being a reliable Democrat, she was feeling as though her vote didn't matter. We were able to talk about the issues that were on her heart and mind, things like access to broadband and healthcare. And by the end of that call, she told me not only would she be voting, she would be early voting that very afternoon. So when you're reaching out to voters and speaking to them person to person, you are making that difference. And we can't thank you enough for your work. It has never been more important. Democrats have a slim 6-seat lead in the House of Representatives right now, and we can't afford to lose a single seat. This election could be the key to maintaining control of the House and ensuring that we pass the critical legislation we need to combat climate change, protect voting rights, and strengthen our nation's infrastructure so we can build back better. It's time for us to show up for Melanie Stansberry and get out the vote. And wow, we are lucky to have such a great candidate to support. Representative Stansberry is committed to tackling climate change, eradicating food insecurity, diversifying our economy, expanding quality healthcare, and living up to our country's promise of for justice for all. And she has a record of showing up in communities across the state as a researcher and STEM educator, and at the national level as a staffer in both the White House and the Senate. We can count on Melanie to make our voices heard in DC. She is running for Congress to lift up our voices and tackle our biggest challenges. She's got the knowledge, the skills, and the abilities we need in Congress. And let me tell you, the GOP is hoping that we don't show up in this race because they know that's the only way they can win. Mark Moores is so clearly out of touch with New Mexicans. He voted against raising the minimum wage, against expanding access to healthcare and providing paid sick leave. These are not our values. These are not values New Mexico wants to see in our congressperson. So it's up to us to make sure that no matter how much money national Republicans invest in this race, we show up to outwork and outvote them. And I've seen what happens when Democrats show up. There is nothing that can stand in our way when we do. So friends, now is the time to show up for Melanie, for each other, and for all of our fellow New Mexicans. And when this rally ends, I hope every one of you will join me in getting on the phone, sending texts, or getting out to canvass, because that hard work is going to make all the difference in this race. So thank you, Democrats, for showing up. And thank you for all your hard work to keep CD1 blue.
Thank you, Chairwoman Velasquez. We are just so fortunate to have your energy, your expertise, your leadership at our state level. Thank you for that. This is a wonderful time. We have wonderful work to do now, don't we, to get out the vote. At this time, I would like to welcome Corina Feldman. She is one of our ward chairs, and she is also the deputy campaign manager for Melanie Stansberry's campaign. Corina?
Good morning, Democrats. I'm so excited that everyone is here. This is such an invigorating, awesome event. I am currently pulled over in the UNM parking lot because we are on our way to Tingley to go canvass. This is such a cool way to launch. I'm super stoked. So I want to give everybody sort of an action plan and some some details about this morning. So we have the largest field infrastructure in a long time. We have lots of organizers. They're turfed out by region, and every single one of your wards and precincts is under the umbrella of one of our turfed organizers. So if you want to canvass, if you want to make phone calls, we have an organizer for that, and we want and need your help. So I'm going to put in the chat all the parks that you can go to canvass this morning. So get out and canvass. pick up a packet starting at 10. But we also have additional launches at 1 and 3 p.m. If you want to drop lit, you can drop lit. If you want to text, you can text. You want to make phone calls, you can make phone calls. But we need every single boot on the ground to get out the vote and get folks to know Melanie in this race, because we got to keep this seat blue, y'all. Let's do it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much, Mary. Hello, Representative Sandberry. Yes, it is time to get out there and walk and cover Bernalillo County with the message that it is time to vote for Melanie Stansberry to keep Bernalillo blue. So let's do this, people. I'd also like to acknowledge one other elected that we have in our audience, Miss Liz Thompson, Representative Liz Thompson, a tireless fighter for New Mexicans. And thank you for being here this morning, Representative Thompson. And so at this time, we are going to adjourn, and all of us head to our parks, head to your phone banks, and let's do this. Let's elect Melanie Stansberry, CD1 representative. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful day.